Nerd morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy, and today we are talking about the comic book that changed my life. So you're watching the Nerd Morning Show, a show where we talk about comics, video games, and all other types of things nerd. And this is a great video for me to share because this is going to be a little bit more personal because we're talking about a comic book that changed my life. So to give a little bit of background about this, let's pedal back into my life a little bit. So growing up, I was really into film. I studied filmmaking stuff kind of in high school, and part of my academic experience in college was in that as well. I had worked in a TV studio and also a film studio both in college and soon after college, and I had absolute love for that medium and still do. I am a major movie buff. One of the things that I started to discover through my academia is that they wouldn't really talk about things that were very contemporary inside of the humanities and other types of studies, because that's what I really was studying at university, was humanities, which is painting, photography, movies, sculptures, ancient histories, things like that. All that type of stuff was inside of that humanities purview, and so I had this wide breadth of understanding of the arts. But when I talked to people inside of that academic world, they were not really very interested in the stuff that was contemporary or that have happened over the past 100 years. So there was not a lot of conversation about things, particularly like comics. As I was going through my schooling, I was really loving all the different things that I was learning, and I particularly was loving film and how they were doing things by that visual storytelling medium. And I love the visual storytelling medium. Well, I've been a casual comic book reader throughout my life, but when I was in college, there was a particular book that I picked up, and it changed my perspective on comics forever. That was Batman: The Court of Owls. So I actually picked up this, it was a trade paperback book, and this is by Scott Snyder and art by Greg Capullo. Anyways, this was earth-shattering to me. And the reason is because inside of my studies, like, you have a specific aspect ratio for movies and for photography. Like, in a photograph, it's going to be a specific frame. It's going to be like this, and that's all it is. It's one single image. And for cinema, you have maybe it's going to have a wider cinematic aspect. Maybe you got the old kind of square look. But really, a film is going to have pretty much the same shape throughout its storytelling experience. And I was like really taken by storm that inside of comics you have these different panel sizes and shapes. This one's really square, this one's long, this ones are like a little bit more tall, these ones are definitely more tall, and they were put together in different ways that you also don't really ever see. These ones are stacked on top of each other, and this here is just text. It's not even a visual, and all of these types of things are being linked and tied together in order to tell this story. And I was just fascinated by some of the ways that comics were functioning that other like storytelling mediums cannot do. Because a video game, it's going to be one big screen, right? That's your canvas size is pretty much that TV aspect ratio, and that's what you have. And it doesn't shift and change. Photography and also movies especially, like all of those are really like fixed in how they are presenting those visual images. It's going to be in that rectangular shape. But here, like, that is definitely not the case. And I was just kind of like blown away by that while I was in school, because I was studying film, because I was studying all these different art forms as well, that I found something here that comics did that was completely and utterly unique, and for a visual storytelling medium, that was a pretty big deal. And I was going into this and going, why don't people talk about these? Why don't we talk about comics as a form of literature, as well as a form of art? And all of my, like, these academics were just not talking about it. And to me, I was like, this is such a unique and powerful thing just on that one single instance. And that's just a technique that has that other storytelling mediums don't have. And then this was really what took me, was this section here. And I'm not really showing you like this to tell the story or to be a spoiler or anything like that. But here we have a like a regular set of pages for this comic. And then something happens that was absolutely remarkable. This is how those next pages are set up. So when I was reading it, I had to actually turn the book. And I thought that was really cool because inside of here, as the story goes, like Batman is the main character and he's kind of getting a psychological attack, as it were. And it kind of reflects that as you have to turn the book, that his world is kind of turning on its side. And I thought that's just really, really cool. Again, another one that was turned on the side, just the next page over. And then the craziest thing happened. It was upside down because his world at that moment was turned upside down. And I literally had to turn the book upside down in order to be able to continue with this story. And I loved that the psychological placement of that character was being physically represented inside of this story by how the book was laid out, how the art was laid out. And it is, in continuation, upside down. And I was just blown away. And then obviously, it writes itself up and the story continues. But I've never seen anything like this. I mean, you do have a couple of books, a novel form, that have it and you flip it upside down or something like that. I'm not saying like this is something that was never ever used anywhere else, but it always kind of felt gimmicky. And here I was just like, wow, there's just such like control and mastery of this art form and this storytelling medium that there's got to be some serious merit to this medium. And it really got me on this hunt to find amazing books and things that were being told story-wise that were just really, really cool. And I have found so many profound stories and beautiful art. It inspired me to try to write my own comics, which I continually work on. And I spend a lot of time drawing and doing other types of things, most specifically in this medium, like style of like the cartoon comic style, because I absolutely love what they do. And as you can see, I have a huge, huge collection of comics now. I read comics all the time, and it really has affected and changed my approach on art and on my concept of what can be seen as good art. And it just really has been an earth-shaking experience for me. And that all really shifted with Batman the Court of Owls. I just thought, this is doing something unique. This is doing something powerful. And there are a ton of things that comics can do that no other art medium can do. And there's a lot of things that overlap and carry over. And I see people who do the comic design and they're doing layouts and they go and they look at cinematography books and how they do those types of things and seeing how things are similar and also how the things are different between the different art mediums is something that really, really fascinates me. The comic book medium is such a huge, tremendously powerful gateway to get people reading. And I love that because there's so much value in that. Like that's a major way that we communicate and have, as it were, like the collective shared mind of all of humanity is through reading. And I think that people are trying to like consider like, should I let my kids read? Yes, let them read comics because it will get them reading more things. And I think that it's just filled with good, impactful, powerful stories. And that world really opened up to me because I read Batman the Court of Owls. It shifted me from a casual reader to a diehard fan, and it made me so I was seeing also a lack of conversation here where academics and other individuals were talking about old art, they were talking about old paintings, they were talking about all these other things, but they were not touching this this medium. And I felt like I wanted to be able to be a voice for this medium. And so that's, leads into why did I start the Nerd Morning Show? Why do I spend so much time as I talk about all types of nerdy things into this medium, and also to kind of normalize that these things that we classify as nerdy also can be deep, can be profound, can have a lot of value as a piece of art, as a storytelling device, as a storytelling piece, and can just add so much to our lives. So this is my little story that I had for me and my own experiences and the comic book that changed my life. Hopefully this was interesting and maybe impactful to you. If you have comments, thoughts, questions, put them down in the comments below. Be sure to like this video. That will help out a lot. And also, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you guys for watching the videos and just being a part of this experience. Like, it just is so awesome, and I really, really appreciate it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time.